Wife, mother, friend, mentor, community leader. These are all terms that describe the late Meg Cullen-Brown. Taken away from us in her prime, Meg showed everyone she touched the true meaning of the word dedication. Her love of faith, family, and friends will be forever etched in the minds of those who knew and loved her. Meg Cullen was a lifelong resident of Scranton. Growing up in the family home in Greenridge with her 3 sisters and brother, Meg learned about life lessons from her parents, caring neighbors, and friends that she cherished till her last day. A devoted member of St. Paul's Church, Meg was a graduate of Bishop Hannon High, Bloomsburg University, and later received a master's from Marywood. After college, Meg was living and working with her sister in Boston when, on a trip home for the Thanksgiving holiday in 1983, she was introduced to a friend of one of her neighbors and childhood classmates. And according to Mike Brown, it was love at first sight. The couple dated, and then came the engagement.
We had been dating for 9 months, or 10 months at that point. You know, we were, very serious, and, we had talked about getting married, and so I don't know if I ever did pop the question. Meg was home on a Friday morning, or she came home on Friday, and her mother was, that there was a sale on engagement rings at Levy's. So she said, you guys should just go down and check them out. We went down to Levy's, and I talked to Mr. Cy Biederman. We went into a little side room, and he's showing us all different kind of engagement rings, and there we were, and we picked out a ring. We walked outside of Levy's, and right there in front of the Globe store, I have my ring, and we were like, well, I guess we're engaged. So that was the...
They were married in 1985 and initially lived in apartments before purchasing their first fixer-upper, which Mike refers to as the money pit. But with the declining health of Meg's parents, they both believed strongly that family came first and decided to move into the family homestead to care for her parents. Meg started working in the admissions department for Marywood University, a job she loved and at which she was very good.
She had like this innate ability to see the potential in students. And if she thought that there was potential and that there was the desire of the student, like, she would fight tooth and nail for that student. But it wouldn't end there. I saw many students here that, we would fight for our students to get in. I mean, that's kind of part of your job. And once they got in, not Meg, she would follow them through, and she would have no problem stopping someone in the hallway. I need to see you. Like, if she heard that they were cutting class or that their grades were slipping, and she would stay on them.
After 5 years on the job, both Meg and Ani and their husbands were interested in starting a family, and the rigors of traveling for the admissions department would not suffice. So when a job opened up in the non-credit professional development department, Meg and Ani decided they could split the job and presented a proposal for what was then to be a new concept called job sharing. The idea gained local media attention and became an example for other institutions and companies to follow. Meg and Ani worked at various positions together at Marywood for 15 years before Meg would accept a position at the University of Scranton. As Meg and Mike started to have children, they were both attuned to the importance of family. Mike came from a family of 11, and aunts, uncles, and cousins would frequent the Brown home. And as the boys grew up, they were taught life's lessons from their mom.
This house is the house that my mom was raised in, that my grandfather was raised in, that my great-grandmother was raised in, and that my great-great-grandmother bought. Family was always the most important thing to her. I think the three of us are better people because of the family aspect. We come from, people don't know their first cousins the way we know our third cousins. And that was something that my mom made sure that we had ingrained in us family to her wasn't just her brothers and sisters. Everyone to her was family. If she loved you, then you were a part of her family. And I think that's the way that we looked at it. Like love, if you love somebody, then you welcome them into your family, and she taught us that.
The greatest gift that I could say I received from my mom was the example of love that she showed to her parents, and perhaps even more so to my dad. She did obviously love us, but it was the way that she allowed us to watch her love the other people in her life that I think will always serve as a foundation for us. What I've gathered kind of in the past few months, maybe one of the greatest talents that my mom had was her ability to make someone else feel so important when they were conversing with her. I think my mom had a great gift or talent in being able to talk with people.
Our door is always open, and our door is still always open, and that has been the case forever. That anyone is always welcome in this house, whether it be our cousins coming in from Philadelphia or Boston or wherever. They're always welcome here, and that, like, nothing was better than a Thursday night where one of my cousins was sleeping here. It was a little treat. That's just what was stressed from such a young age for me, was that there's nothing more important than family. That the people you're with are the most important people in your life, and I was with them every day.
And it wasn't just the family that could see and experience Meg's love. She was a dedicated and trusted friend to many. Tish Doyle Cosgrove was a childhood and lifelong best friend of Meg's.
I first met Meg in 3rd grade. She transferred down from St. Clair's to St. Paul's, and have been blessed to have her as my best friend ever since. I tell everyone, if you had Meg as a best friend, there would be no such thing as bullying in the world. When we got married, we used to call ourselves sister wives, because our husbands were best friends, and we kind of all just enjoyed each other, which did make it easier. She was so passionate about everything. She had a confidence about her that allowed her to live who she was and what she believed, and she didn't really care what other people thought. We certainly had fun, and Meg had the best sense of humor. We would laugh over everything and nothing. She did not like when people made fun of other people, though, but there's nothing she laughed at more than herself. And we would buckle over laughing at, like, whatever happened to us that day. Usually nothing. It sounds like we're describing a Seinfeld episode where we're describing our lives. We did a lot of nothing that we just couldn't have loved more.
Meg dedicated her professional life to service to her community, parish, and higher education. She served on the Neighbor Works of Northeastern Pennsylvania Community Relations Committee, volunteered at St. Francis of Assisi Kitchen, was a member of St. Paul's School Middle States Assessment Committee, and was past chairwoman of St. Paul's Block Party and St. Clair St. Paul School Auction Committee.
And when my dad called and said that my mom was going to get this award, kind of my first thought was, this is who she was, and this is kind of what she represented, and what Neighbor Works did. You know, I know that she was a part of it from the beginning. The values that she lived her life by, and that she tried to instill in us, that she and my dad tried to instill in us, was everything that she saw good in this community. And I think she led by example and let us know we had a responsibility to give back.
At the time of her passing, Meg was the director of the Office of the Registrar and Academic Services at the University of Scranton.
She dove headfirst into it. She was so passionate about what she was doing at the university, that, you know, the people that she could help, you know, her co-workers at the university.
She took her job seriously. As she did, she was a chair of our staff senate, and Meg was very opinionated and a strong person who represented well the interests of her colleagues on the staff, and she did a good job representing them to me. She was a wonderful woman.
Meg loved the university and Jesuit education. She worked on more than 10 committees, and her role as president of the Staff Senate enabled her to work closely with administration, faculty, and staff members to help the university maintain its ranking as one of the best institutions in the nation.
I would say Meg was a major player on campus.
But it was always the students that were Meg's top priority. Her caring and nurturing personality helped them to reach their goal and achieve success in today's competitive world.
She would have stacks of thank you letters from students. And I would have like a stack maybe this high about, just like, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you. And
Dear Brown family, approximately 10 years ago, my son was a student at the University of Scranton. He was not doing well academically, and I expressed my concern to Meg. With a wave of her hand,
she simply stated, "Corey will be fine. He gets it." I knew Meg Cullen-Brown was not a person who would make such a statement if she did not
truly believe in someone. And while I still had concerns over the next few years, I would think of Meg and her words and knew he would be fine.
Corey graduated from the University of Scranton and went on to complete his law degree. Meg touched so many lives. I can only imagine how many others have such stories.
I would say loyal, kind, generous, passionate, confident, loving, good person.
Meg Cullen-Brown was so many things to so many people. Meg loved her husband, her sons, her extended family, and her friends in the only way she knew how: fiercely, deeply, well.
On behalf of our family, we are honored and humbled to receive this honor in Meg's name. We'd like to congratulate the other recipients this evening. We'd like to thank the Casey family. The Cullen-Casey relationship goes back decades and continues to this day. Meg would especially be honored to join Tom Gallagher and my mother as a recipient of the Casey Award. Meg was passionate about the mission of NeighborWorks, and we are grateful for this honor. Thank you.